All right. Hey, welcome back to the Go for CEO channel. Thank you so much, community, for coming back again. And look, today is pretty special. We've got someone that is pre-seed, pre-revenue, but this guy is blowing up. He's doing some things. I met him on Clubhouse, the app. He's raised over six figures already for his new business, and it is pretty incredible. We're going to learn about where his mind is at. Why did he choose this industry? What's going on in this world of this crazy commercial real estate? And what he's going to do to change things in the United States and hopefully worldwide. So, my man, Devin Davie with the Office Exchange, the CEO. Devin, how are you? Thanks so much for coming on the Go for CEO channel.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, John, for having me on the platform and for, those incredible words, of kindness. And, it's been an incredible experience, and I cannot thank you enough for having me on your platform and everything. So excited
Awesome.
to share with you, and yeah, get to know, get to
I
share
love
about
it.
the change.
I love it. I love it. The community is really rich about, just understanding kind of where you're coming from, where you've been, and then what we're going to do to really kind of launch this business, what you're thinking about marketing, operations, and all those types of things. So, but by the way, subscribe to the channel, everybody. I don't know if it's up or down, click somewhere, subscribe to the channel, like this, and leave a comment for Devin. After you see what he's about to share, you're going to learn so many things about this pre-seed, the pre-revenue, and understanding how to launch a business, what the mindset it took to do this. So go ahead, Devin. Let us know kind of what got to this point. How did you think about this idea? What are some seeds in your mind that flourished that all of a sudden you put these mechanisms together? So go ahead and take it away.
Well, John, that's a great query. What really kind of got me to the inception point, what what brought me to the idea of the Office Exchange was I've always had the mindset of wanting to make a difference in the world, be able to leave something behind that leaves a legacy, right? But outside of that, in a personal kind of component, what really drove me to the Office Exchange was I kind of put together this ideation board of all the different, you know, businesses I could go into, and taking in my past experience being in technology throughout my career. And then the inception point was really around or mid 2019, when I kind of noticed there was a shift in how people work, and kind of having the foresight of what was coming from the perspective of 2020, but B, what things could look like afterward. And also looking at it from the standpoint of the inefficiencies that we have pre 2020, looking at it from that standpoint. Like, why is everything from the consumer side of the perspective so easy to obtain, so easy to grasp? You jump on your phone, you order Uber Eats, it lands right into your house. It's easy to jump and grab that. You're able to hop into a car on Uber, grab an Airbnb. Everything's on demand from a consumer side. And I'm thinking to myself, the real estate market needs this type of technology. And when I also was kind of ideating on that, I looked at it from the perspective of what's the most cost efficient way to go about building a business with longevity. And that's where I landed on the Office Exchange itself. There's a number of other different little components in there as well, but we can kind of dive into that a little bit later if you'd like as well.
No, that's awesome. I mean, look, what you always need to do when you're starting a business usually is either find a system that's already working, right? Franchising, solve an issue that's out there, right? That can do something with mega scale, or just do something that you're passionate about. It seems like you kind of solved all of them, right? I don't know if maybe in the future you'll franchise your concept, but I know I had a lady on from the other office something, right? Office
Right,
of,
right.
but it's interesting, the dynamic of how you get into business. So tell us a little bit about. I read, the Office Exchange did do some pre-seed funding.
Yep.
Walk us through that mindset and what you wanted to do to invite other people to really invest into your concept and what you saw about that process.
That's a, thank you for asking that, John, because one of the things about, being able to raise funds is passion, you know, really embodying and breathing what you are building, what you are bringing to the table, what you are looking to be a component that can change the world for the better. And if I'm not excited about, doing this, if I'm not excited about sharing it with other individuals, then how am I gonna get folks to invest, right? How am I even going to, conceptualize and, bring on, the incredible team I have? It's passion. It's passion. It's so deep in my heart that I jump out of the bed every morning excited to be the CEO of the Office Exchange and founder. And so, going back, to your point and everything, what it really took was, talking with various different individuals from friends and family, all the way to, very, high net worth, accredited investors, and just bringing the passion and showing what we are going to do to change the way in which people work, the way in which people are able to live, and the way in which your work-life balance can find equilibrium. And that's where I'm finding a lot of excitement from our investor standpoint. And that's what was able to, really get us to our uh, current raised funds at this point in time for pre-seed.
Neat. And how did you choose the mechanism? Some people may be wondering, hey, friends and family, yeah, that sounds, kind of typical, right? In the entrepreneurial voyage, whatever seeds of capital you bring to the table, friends and family believing in you. But now you also went into a mechanism, if you don't mind sharing, a tool that's out there online. And how did you learn from it? And then also, did someone guide you? Did you have a mentor? Or did you just kind of investigate yourself and then start seeing that accumulation of assets start to build up?
That's a great question as well, John. There are a lot of different tools out there. Whether you're leveraging Crunchbase or you're leveraging, um, the different types of ways to fund, crowdfunding, and leveraging, mentors that can guide you to a list of angel investors. There's
Mhm.
so many different ways to go about it, all of which I have looked into and continue to look into. But one thing I want to bring up as a salient point is anytime you're leveraging these tools, they're only as powerful as the work you put into them, or the work you take and leverage out of them, which is the awesome part about it. You can sign up for something, but if you just kind of let it sit there, you're not gonna achieve what's needed out of that tooling. And so combined with leveraging those different tool sets, some of which I named off and everything, I did a lot of due diligence. I did a lot of research. I took my time to learn the market. I took my time to understand how tool A can, you know, broaden the spectrum, this much, whereas tool B can broaden it this much, or one's more myopic towards a specific channel that I'm looking at, for example, crowdfunding or angel investing, whatever that might look like. And so it's really about choosing, doing your due diligence, understanding what you need to do as an entrepreneur, as well as working with your team and mentors to close those gaps. And I definitely have some great mentors and coaches that I work with. Definitely a key to success, and as you work your way through the process. But in addition to that, it's a lot of grit and just sharing that passion, and getting folks excited about what you're bringing to the table.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So one of the things that I know a lot of our community have talked about is, hey, how big does your business plan have to be? how intricate does your ideation have to get? You know, you have to deliberate for 12 months, 18 months before you kind of go to a crowdfunding situation. So can you share a little bit about just even the business plan, what it meant to actually raise the funds? And now, are those partners of you? For those that may not know about crowdfunding, are they partners? Are they just debtors? How do they play into the functionality of how you're about to launch your business? So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when it comes to, how you work with, different types of investors and, how you work with different types of folks is, one thing that I noticed was when I was having conversations with, friends and family, when I was having the conversations with, different angel investors and everything, the one key component was, you know, really finding that secret sauce of what was able to excite them to bring some components to the table that allowed for that kind of that je ne sais quoi of what folks were looking for.
Mhm.
And I going through that journey, I really found that leveraging angel investing, leveraging um, friends and family really was the crux of what helped. I definitely am exploring more on the crowdfunding side of things, but at this point, the focus has kind of been on those angel investors as well as um, friends and family and individuals from that standpoint. But the doors are definitely open in terms of what we're looking to accomplish and everything.
Nate, and look, this is one of our first interviews of pre-seed and pre-revenue. So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about what is in the works right now. How do you start to determine launch date? Is it the technology that you still have to kind of build out? Is it the infrastructure with the vendors, the commercial office buildings? What are you trying to do right now before launch date? And then is there a magical launch date yet? Let us know that so we can kind of prepare for that.
So that's what I am incredibly excited about is we are at a soft launch state. Everything from an MVP standpoint, we are ready. The site is ready to take on launch partners, so host and tenants, and we're looking to build that base up because when I first founded the company and everything, I held myself and I hold my team to a standard of excellence. I do not, I don't believe in letting out a product or a platform or a tool that is not going to have every I dotted and T crossed. So it can provide that value to you. And to get to that point, it took a lot of hours. It took a lot of long nights, long days, a lot of you go through the different ebbs and flows of being a founder and being an entrepreneur. They always say it's you know the folks that go into entrepreneurship are uh, they just embody this uh, different way of thinking about things, and it's getting to that place where you can you know work with the different individuals and really hone in on how you're going to target your launch, right? And we do have a date coming up, so look forward to us being fully launched in the next month or so, give or take a bit. And I say that not to be obtuse, but I say that because there's a certain threshold that I would like us to meet prior to getting to that point. And one of the reasons that I'd like to meet that threshold first is because there are so many promotions that we're providing for our launch partners. So the earlier that folks can get in, the better you're gonna be able to leverage the platform and everything. But also, like I said, going back to my earlier point, I would like absolute, you know, um, I don't want to say perfection, but uh, I want to release a product that is ready to be a household name and change the ways in which we work, and be a solution to a lot of the issues that we're seeing currently within the real estate market. And so that's the goal.
Yeah, like you said earlier, you're bringing a big solution to the market. You're going to do big things, and you're raising capital to be able to implement that. So tell us a little bit about kind of just the infrastructure, right? You're about to launch, but share with the community, the Go for CEO community. They learn from these CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs like yourself. What is it that you're actually doing on a day-to-day basis? Is it more working with the real estate holders, the owners of these places? Is it more getting your marketing out for the people that will be using these office spaces? How are you working that together for pre-launch purposes?
You touched on a lot of great points. Yeah, a lot of great points there, John. You know, all those different components. You're working with um, investors, working with potential leads. You're on a daily basis working with your team, on the various different components of the infrastructure of the platform. And also, you're training yourself to be in the CEO mindset.
Hmm.
Because whether you've started a business before or whether it's your first time, there's always going to be a learning curve, whatever that might look like. So my background is in tech and software architecture, and that's kind of how we also, tech meets real estate. They're two of
Mm-hmm.
my passions, and so it's a constant. You're working with your team. You're working to close the gaps on, marketing. You're developing, marketing programs. You're working with, like I said, investors. You're working with potential launch partners. You're managing the legal aspects, all the different, making sure you have all those items covered, and it's really ensuring that you have all your bases covered, but at the same time you're able to give what's required as a leader. And as you're taking on and growing into that leadership position, you really are doing a little bit of everything. But that's where you also, I think one of the most important things for future entrepreneurs is build a team of folks around you that know more about their areas of expertise than you do. That is the one of the most important things, because without a great team of experts, you are doing yourself, an injustice. You've got to always be humble, and you realize that you don't know everything, and that's okay. That's okay. In fact, that's great, because you have an opportunity to learn more and give back more. So it's a lot. Your days are busy, and but if you're passionate about it, that's what's going to really lead to your success. So,
I love it. I love it. You kind of made me think of right. You said earlier you kind of wake up and you jump out of bed and understand kind of that you're headed somewhere, right? And you're accountable to a lot of people, right? You've raised some seed capital, you've got some angel investors, you've got family friends. People are looking for you to deliver. So, Devin, delivering over the next 30, 60, 90, 120 days, and looking for the next, probably 9 to 12 months, what are some building blocks that you're already putting together that say, hey, here's what we're going to do with this part, here's that part. But, I would say probably right now, what is your best marketing effort? Because you're going, to the consumer of office space and to the owner of the office space and being the bridge in between. What's your marketing efforts at those levels right now?
Absolutely. So, right now it's a lot of, organic and, guerrilla type of marketing from that, specific standpoint. So,
Mm.
leveraging your connections, leveraging the folks that you, work with in a professional atmosphere and everything. And, leverage, using those leads, use those leads to, be able to help close those gaps. One thing I would say from, an owner's perspective and everything is for our platform, there is zero cost whatsoever to be on the platform.
Mm.
And it's a very huge value add to owners who right now, you know, they may not have, there's not a lot of new long-term leases being signed.
Mm.
And I've done my due diligence. I've spoken with a lot of professionals in this in the realm, as well as reading the data. I love data. Being a software engineer and a software architect, data is king. And I love looking at the data, but I also data is only as good as how you can normalize it, how you can um, leverage it to your advantage. So for owners, for companies that are looking for a option that gives you the flexibility of being able to move to a hub spoke type working model, to move to a 322 working model, to move to a model that allows part of your company to work remote, part of them to be in the office, uh, giving that configurability to both sides of the market, I think is going to be, or I believe is something we're going to see a lot of growth in. Um, the office space realm, as well as the entirety of the commercial real estate space. And that's the big question that everyone has on their mind right now. Am I going to go back to the office 9 to 5? Am I going to go back, stay remote? A lot of companies have already made those decisions. And so to close those gaps and to really market out to them, um, we're bringing those components to the table, but we're also ensuring that we're able to cater to our launch partners and future clients as well in a very red carpet type experience and a premium experience for them. So that's what we're looking to accomplish. And in terms of the upcoming months, so the goal right now would be to onboard a great group of launch partners and owners onto the platform, and then once we meet that threshold, um, open things out to the public, so the market or the marketplace solution, the Office Exchange, can basically uh, you know run itself and have folks go in and leverage the tool. I'm excited to see the analytics and all the data that comes from that. So that's definitely a goal within the next 30 to 60 days. And then 90 days down the road, we're looking to add different value add components to the platform that are really going to tap into different parts of the economy. Help for from the broker side of things. Really folding all the existing components of the market um, to have an equitable outcome, but also be a market disruptor. So
I
those are
love it.
the goals that we're working towards.
You just said it, right? Disruptor, disruption, repurpose. All these words come to mind when you think about commercial real estate. What's happened from 2020 pandemic to 2021, understanding kind of what are the next steps. A revolutionary mind and thinking of an idea that is kind of impacting that commercial real estate space by you, right? Being one of the innovators of that. So let's talk a little bit about the software. I know that that's your background, so let's get a little bit knee deep into what is it that you really have put together, and keep whatever you want to keep as proprietary IP stuff, but what is it that the public can expect when you think about entrepreneurs or small to medium-sized business or even large businesses, what are they expecting with this exchange, the dynamics of it, how it's going to move, how it's going to make their life easier, and what solution you brought to the table?
That's a once again, you're always John. Your queries are incredible, and I love them. Truly love them, and once again, very thankful to be on the platform and everything. You know, I One of the things that I think is going to excite folks the most about our platform is simplicity. Simplicity in tech is number one. You have to, you know, systems and the way that things work can always be complex. But when you take it down to what needs to be accomplished at the end of the day, how can we provide value, right? If you're an owner, how what is the easiest way to uh, be onboarded, you know, to join the platform and provide value? What's the quickest route to that? What's the quickest route to provide value to tenants? What's the quickest route to provide value to brokers? When I look at it from those different standpoints, that's where the software components come into play, because a cumbersome software, or what folks will call monolithic code, right? Where everything's dependent on a specific system, and if one system fails, they all fail. And then you've got systems that come into play that are, leveraging, microservices and APIs or application programming interfaces. There's been a lot of revolution in moving in that direction, and then moving towards Lambda and moving towards serverless types of, architectures. And I'll just say we're leveraging a lot of the, most cutting edge technologies from that standpoint. But what I will say is that to get on our platform and to execute a transaction takes less than 10 minutes.
Mm.
In, out, done.
Wow.
That's inclusive of all that's needed to be done also on the monetization side. So, looking at it from that standpoint, we've got a lot of, neat tricks up our sleeve to really differentiate us in a number of ways. I'll keep it a little bit obtuse there, but that's why like I said, you can of course check our website out and everything to be onboarded, as a launch partner. But I'll say this: that configurability and having an option, because right now the commercial real estate market and the market in and of itself is encumbered by lack of velocity, lack of adaptation to prop tech, adversity to adapt to the future of where things are going. It's like, you look at, once again, kind of going back to the point earlier I made about everything in the world we live in is on demand. Do you need, something delivered to your house next day? Do you need X, Y, and Z? Everything's instant.
Mm.
And in a time in which we don't know what the future may hold, but we all know from the data that persists that there's going to be a lot of changes. People have already committed to, we're going to go to a full remote model, or we're going to go to a hybrid model. That means a lot for commercial real estate and how it's leveraged, how it's repurposed, how
Yeah.
Folks are able to continue making their mortgages, and owners are able to continue to be profitable on their platform, and companies on the tenant side, how they're able to also be able to have and obtain space on demand when you need it. On demand and when you need it. to be able to work whenever, wherever. And so, kind of tying that all together, I would say we're going to bring a very unique and disruptor that will revolutionize the way in which people in the real estate market, but also employees, are able to live their lives. Like I said, work-life balance, being able to close that gap too. So,
Man, it's funny. I sit here sometimes and I listen to founders, CEOs, entrepreneurs like yourself, and everybody's got a different kind of dynamic and way to deliver things. I can see your engineering mind working like on it, already developing, understanding kind of 3 steps ahead forward. You're like the ultimate chess player, right? Trying to maneuver things and making sure that you do it the right way. So I love that, for a guy that's probably more, just kind of run through the wall, see if it hurts type of guy. I'd appreciate people like yourself around me and learning from it. So look, as we kind of bring this interview to the end, we like to ask 3 questions, right? And one thing, just as a reminder, community, here's a gentleman who's starting a business, who pre-seeded, who crowdfunded, who angel invested, who family and friends, and he's ready to launch in the next 30 to 60 days. In the next 6 months, we're going to follow Devin, Davie, and the Office Exchange to find out where he's at then, okay? And then 6 months after that. So one of the beautiful things of the Go for CEO channel, Devin, is that we want to create a community, a tribe that follows you and is waiting to find out where we're going, what you're doing. So that's a little bit of a twist to our channel, to our podcast. But so CEO for Go for CEO is client experience, employee engagement, and operational excellence. So let's track that over the next 6 months or so. Obviously, when we meet up again, I want to hear today, what are you thinking as the CEO of the company that the value proposition is going to be specifically for client experience?
I would say, first of all, thank you so very much, for having me on the platform, John. And, it's absolutely, been a pleasure being on the platform. And, one thing, we definitely are, seeking that, looking towards crowdfunding and everything. So just want to make sure we got that together. But, from the client perspective, what we are looking to bring to the table is ease of use, instant transactions, and giving folks the cash available in their pocket to place it back into either their company or back into their pockets, so they're able to gain more over time. So when I say that, the client themselves, whether you're a host on our platform or you're a tenant on our platform, with higher throughput on your different sites or on your different spaces, you can, like I said, configure the cost. Your actual, net value that you're adding in terms of, monetization grows exponentially. And on the other side of the fence, if you're a tenant and you're looking for that option of what do I do now? What should I try a hub spoke model out? Hey, come to the Office Exchange, give it a try, find a few spots, and we'll close that gap for you, leveraging our tech and our backend systems.
Neat. Well, good to hear. And my mind's racing, but we'll go to the next one, right? So, employee engagement. Obviously, getting started, pre-launch, all that type of stuff. I don't know if you already have some people on staff. I know that you have a great team around you. But what are you thinking as a CEO that could be a differentiator? Maybe that first 6 to 12 months. You're a startup, so you're having to sell a dream to people. You have to sell the dream of where the Office Exchange is coming from. That those paychecks aren't going to bounce, those type of things. So tell us about employee engagement over the next, what are you thinking about it?
That's, you always have I absolutely, I gotta say, I love your interview process. It's absolutely incredible, John. You know, employees are they are the foundation of your company. They are truly the foundation of your company. And the team that I've initially built, like I said, I wanted to ensure that the folks that joined the Office Exchange knew more about those specific areas in all capacities than I did. And so to bring value to our employees, it will always be an employee-centric company where we're always giving back to our employees themselves. And I've said that to my team. I've said and I committed to them that I want to make sure that how you know whatever arrangement that we come up with and the arrangements that we have come up with, you are happy with. Because if my employees or my team, if they're not happy to work at the Office Exchange, if they're not happy to work with um, different folks, then we cannot build something incredible and share with the world if we're not able to provide that happiness. And that happiness comes in a number of ways, making sure folks are taken care of well from a financial standpoint, making sure, the employees, health and all that, looking out for each other. Um, so we absolutely are committed to ensuring that the workplace is um, one that people are excited to be at, and like I said, get up in the morning, are ready to jump on their computer or jump and do whatever needs to be done at that layer, and to be excited as I am about what we're looking to do and accomplish with the Office Exchange.
All right, you heard it, man. So later on, we're gonna put some information down. Obviously, as we post this out, there's gonna be some people excited to be a part of your team and joining in the future, right? So, all right, the last one is operational excellence, right? What does that actually mean? How are you gonna put some value-added proposition to that, and share with us kind of that ending story of where you're headed with operational excellence?
Well, I would say from an operational perspective, we're really looking to continue growing, continue to add, to solve for those existing problems that exist in the market today that someone has not maybe taken the time. And it can be the simplest of components, whether it's, I don't want to go into too many of the details, but I'll say this: if it is a problem statement that exists in the market, and it can be a part of the platform, and we're able to operationalize that going forward, it will be a part of the Office Exchange. And our plan throughout this process will be to continue at a high velocity to keep meeting new milestones, keep attacking the problem statements that exist, and closing the gap on our funding, working through our launch process, and growing at a high rate so we can continue our vertical and horizontal growth. So whether that's initially tackling, the specific markets out here in Denver, or Los Angeles, or New York, or San Francisco, and then growing, to other, areas and everything across the nation. That's what we're looking to do. But keeping in mind that we're going to continue to stand up the tech, tighten up the tech, and continue to add value to our clients and our customers.
Well, let's not forget about Chicago. I'm a little biased.
I didn't forget about Chicago. Chicago's on the radar. Chicago's on the radar for sure.
Awesome.
John.
Awesome, awesome, my man. Well, hey, Devin, it's been a pleasure having you on the Go for CEO channel and community. Let Devin know what you think, what's going on, how are you thinking and processing what he did. From a software engineer's perspective, it is methodical. It's a systematic way of processing things, and you heard it from his mind, right? How he thinks, what he developed, how he's going to, and tactically how he's going to launch. So, Devin, let everybody know the best ways to communicate with you, what platforms you're on, what your website is, and obviously we'll share that as well on our post, but go ahead and share that as well.
Awesome, awesome. First of all, once again, I want to thank you, John, for having me on the platform. Absolutely incredible and an honor to be here and a pleasure. Absolutely. I would say, you can reach us on Instagram at the Office Exchange. You can reach us at devin.davie at theofficeexchange.com. You can also reach us at contact us at theofficeexchange.com. Check out our LinkedIn profile, check out our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook page, and follow us on all of our different platforms. And also, if you're leveraging Clubhouse, follow us on there. So.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Clubhouse is one of the ways I'm attracting these CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs. It's how Devin and I met in a room of just chatting real estate and understanding kind of what's going on. And I saw his profile, linked up with him, and here we are. So, but hey, Devin, no, my pleasure having you on. Excited to see you in 6 to 12 months on the channel here. Understand the boys that you're going through, and really create a tribe of, who can follow the Office Exchange, what it's about, and share with people this community that you're building. So thank you so much, and we look forward to having you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, John. I cannot thank you enough. I really appreciate it, and look forward to growing with you all. Thank you so much.
Take care, Devin.
Thanks, you too.